Good afternoon, everyone. This is my case study for EDL 850 School Law, Module 14. The problem in this case study involves Slattery Steno High School, which is a large, affluent school. The principal of this school is Dr. Harvey Smith. He is respected by parents. He's proud of his school's reputation, and he strives to hire the most qualified teachers, and he hired Miss Tate. Miss Tate teaches specialized science courses. She is like a second-year teacher who comes highly qualified. She has a master's degree plus. She's known for setting high expectations for her students. The students in her class are highly competitive. And Dr. Smith has shared some strategies with her to decrease student stress and promote positive student interactions, but she has yet to implement those. And she is the subject of numerous parent complaints. The event that happened in the story that was kind of major was that Miss Tate received an email advising her to check a website for a personal message. The message, once she found it on Facebook, was highly suggestive, included vulgar language, and was personally insulting. The message was also critical of the rigor in her class. And the final nail in the coffin, so to speak, was it said, "Who wants Miss Tate to disappear?" The response to this message was that first Miss Tate felt personally threatened and felt like her safety was in danger. Dr. Smith requested to see the message for himself, and Dr. Smith also inquired about whether or not Miss Tate had any disgruntled or disruptive students recently that might have possibly created this Facebook page. Miss Tate identified William Hall as a likely culprit. She'd had a lot of trouble with him before in class, and he was pretty knowledgeable about how to use the computer. Dr. Smith makes plans to investigate in the morning once he's discovered that Miss Tate is safe for the evening. There's some things I need to know. What I need to know is what exactly were the contents of the message, and then was any part of the email or message created on a school computer? Was this district policy? What is the district policy for the internet school usage? Is Miss Tate in any immediate danger? Who exactly is involved? And is this an isolated incident, or is it indicative of a larger school-wide issue? Do we have bigger problems here than one student creating one Facebook page? What's the problem? I see the problem as Miss Tate was the subject of a malicious Facebook page. A student may be responsible for the malicious content that was posted about Miss Tate, and a student or more than one student may have violated the appropriate internet usage policy. I've created a 5-step process to deal with this issue. My first step is to conduct a thorough investigation of the incident. Step 2 is to ensure the safety of Miss Tate. Step 3 is to identify and discipline any students found responsible for violating internet usage policy. Step 4, determine if additional instruction about appropriate internet usage is required. And step 5, to create a plan of assistance for Miss Tate. A few more details on each one of those steps. In step 1, in my investigation, one of the first things I would like to do is if it's required, I need to notify the superintendent of the issue at hand or any other appropriate district officials. I would like to seek some additional information from Miss Tate and from the students in her classroom. And then I'd also like to request the support of the district IT department to see if there's any possible ways that they can help support my investigation that are ethical and that are appropriate. Step 2, in ensuring the safety of Miss Tate, I would like to check in with her immediately the next morning of school and identify her state of mind and reassure any fears that she might have going into class that day. And then take any needed safety precautions if those are warranted, or if Miss Tate seems to feel like she needs something extra to make her feel safe at school. Step 3 was to identify and discipline any students found responsible for violating internet usage policy. In doing that, I'm going to work with the IT department to identify any school computers that were used in this act, if any, conduct a fair and ethical investigation. 3, follow district policy in applying disciplinary actions if the responsible party is identified. And then step 4 is to determine if additional instruction is needed about appropriate internet usage. And in order to determine that, I'm going to conduct a short survey with students and staff regarding the understanding and teaching of the internet usage policy. And then I'm going to have the building leadership team take a look at those surveys and have them suggest a plan of action that we need to take, or if we don't need to take any action, then they would make that recommendation also. Step 5, create a plan of assistance for Miss Tate. I feel like she's a second-year teacher. She's probably under evaluation. We already know that Dr. Smith has already tried to give her some suggestions for how to change the environment in her classroom, and so far she hasn't implemented any of those. So I'd like to identify and address the classroom issues that are creating a toxic culture. I'd like to provide Miss Tate with appropriate supports to correct the toxic culture within her classroom. And then I'd like to create a plan for Miss Tate, implement the plan, and follow up as required as part of teacher evaluation. Then how does this resolution promote the success of all students? Well, throughout this, I am addressing critical student learning issues, including addressing a toxic learning environment, understanding of appropriate internet usage and the policy that we have at school, and then the fair and ethical enforcement of the district discipline policy. Facts from the case that are addressed in this resolution. I'm addressing the student and parent concerns that have been expressed about the toxic culture in Miss Tate's classroom. Dr. Smith has previously tried to address this toxic culture with no success, and someone, most likely a student, is not using the internet in an appropriate manner. While going through this case, what was I thinking? One big issue I had is, do we have jurisdiction over things that don't occur during school time or on school property? Is this a First Amendment rights issue? Is whoever's doing this is it just First Amendment rights? Do they have the right to post that? Is Miss Tate uncoachable? Being as a new teacher, that's something I kind of need to know before if tenure is available, whether we tenure her or whether we move forward with her. Does Miss Tate have a mentor? Is there a building instructional coach that it could assist Miss Tate? And then what was I feeling? Like I said, I'm confused about what role the school can play in incidents that occur off grounds. And I'm annoyed that William was so easily identified. I'm worried about whether or not William is being treated appropriately in the classroom. I don't know for sure, but some of the comments that Miss Tate made about him make me wonder. I'm worried that William might be disrupting the learning of other kids in the class. And I'm questioning what appeared to be an overreaction by Miss Tate in quickly identifying William. What was I valuing? I value Miss Tate's academic knowledge. She comes highly qualified. I also appreciate that Dr. Smith has pride in his school and in his teachers. Also, I think that Dr. Smith handled this with a level head. And also, I'm impressed with the ability of this school to attract and retain higher quality teachers. Not every school is so lucky. What unidentified issues remain and what requires further investigation? What do we do if we're unable to identify the person responsible is one thing I'm wondering. Are there appropriate ways that we can address student academic stress? Is the current grading system outdated? Some people are using different grading systems, and is it time for us to look at some of those? Do we need to tap into William's technology aptitude to increase his interest in this class and possibly others? And are there additional types of staff development Ms. Tate would benefit from? How did I promote the success of every student? By acting with integrity. I feel like I am talking about conducting an investigation that's thorough, following district policy to enforce any disciplinary actions, and addressing the toxic culture in Ms. Tate's classroom. I think that speaks to integrity. I need to address what's going on in her classroom. And then provide staff development and additional support for Ms. Tate. By doing that, I'm taking responsibility for what's happening in my school. And then by surveying all the students to determine what they need concerning instruction on appropriate internet usage, instead of just deciding that they all need this instruction, I'm taking a survey, and then I'm also bringing in the building leadership team to construct that plan. So everything's not coming from me. I'm working as a group, and I'm helping to build consensus with our leadership team. How did I promote the success of every student? By acting with fairness. I'm creating a plan of assistance for Ms. Tate to address instructional issues. That's addressing that every student has a chance to succeed. I'm also holding Ms. Tate accountable for the learning environment. And I'm conducting an investigation that is fair and free of prejudice. And then I'm enlisting the support of building leadership to assess the building learning needs related to appropriate internet usage. How do I promote the success of every student? By acting in an ethical manner. I've applied ethical means to determine who was involved in the incident. I didn't just go out and accuse William. I've addressed the classroom issues that were present, and I've refrained from assuming William's guilty. And then I followed all district policies in reporting, acting, and resolving this issue. Okay, that is my presentation for Module 14. It's been great listening to everybody else and learning from everyone in this class. Thank you for your support.